Hola Teros, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to take this time to speak to my community. I wanted to take a pause in making new content. We've been doing this YouTube thing for 5 months, and I just kind of wanted to speak about it. I want to speak, I'm still a small YouTuber, still got a small channel, but I wanted to speak about kind of my experience, in starting the channel, my experience with some of the support, the criticism, and just kind of where I want to go and why I do this Arsenal thing. So, especially this YouTube thing. But yeah, let's start at the beginning. Firstly, and most importantly, I want to give a big shout out to my local team, my local supporters club, South Florida Gunners. Those guys are the ones that kind of made me start the channel. I was in there causing chaos in the group chat. They accepted me and they said, you know what? I think you should try this YouTube thing. I would like to see you on YouTube, give your takes and stuff. And I was like, nah, man, I don't think I could. And one day I picked up my phone and now 200, almost 250 subscribers later, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I wouldn't have even started without those guys, without my wife supporting me. So I appreciate them. And I also want to shout out some bigger YouTubers. Curtis Shaw, he shouted me out when he didn't need to. He's got over 100,000 subscribers. Shane Gooner from Ireland, he shouted me out. He didn't need to. Views on Sport, he shouted me out. He didn't need to. Those guys have a following. Those guys are on YouTube, and they didn't have to look at my channel, recommend it, say anything to their community subscribers, and they did. So I appreciate it. When it comes to my channel, as I said, I've been doing it for 5 months. I've had a blast. I didn't come into this thinking that I would make anything, that I would get a lot of subscribers. I think for me, my goal was 50. If I got 50 subs, I'd have been happy. And I got 5 times that, So it's been very humbling and very great to just be able to do this. As far as, the channel, and I speak about why I started it, I wanted to give a different experience. I think that for me, it was important to kind of give another alternative. I didn't grow up watching Arsenal. I've been supporting Arsenal for 10 years, but I grew up supporting this team. Miami Hurricanes, American football. That was my club growing up. And when I made this YouTube thing, when I started this YouTube thing, I wanted to keep that in mind. I wanted to keep how I felt about the Hurricanes, how I felt as an American who moved from the U.S., from Miami, to England, just over an hour from London. That's where I live, So I want to give a different perspective, because you look on YouTube and you have guys, in the YouTube space who are from London, who might not be from London but are from England. You've got guys who are based in America who, may not get over to watch games. And I feel like me, personally, I've been blessed to have supported the team back home in South Florida, supported the team when I lived in North Carolina, supported the team in Spain when I lived in Spain, and then moved to the UK and supporting the team here. I've been fortunate enough, and I just counted them up because I was doing a clean. I've been fortunate enough to be, to have gone to 9 games. Champions League, Premier League, North London derbies versus City. I found a way, a mate who loves Arsenal, who loved American football. He was like, I'm going to give you an experience. And I've had that 9 times. And I think that's big as well for me to be someone who, 10 years ago, I knew of Arsenal, but I didn't know as much as I know now. I wasn't privy to how that would make me feel. And, me being American, a lot of people look down on American fans, especially because when some of us talk, we don't always sound like we know Arsenal, but there are a lot of passionate American fans. My group chat is full of guys who've been supporting since the 90s, the 80s, who love the Arsenal. And I want it to be a voice. I want it to be a voice for those guys who may move to the UK, who live in South Florida, who love American football, who love, football. I want it to be that. And that's where I kind of do this YouTube thing. I think I look at it both sides, as a guy who was a foreign fan and a guy who's been to matches. That's what I want to bring to the space. as far as like my takes and everything, I mean, a lot of you guys know I've said it before. I coach American football, and when I think about Arteta, especially when I think about how the club is being managed, that's how I always think about it. I think about how I would do it if I was coach. And yes, I'm not at his level. You know, I don't coach the same sport, but I think that a lot of the fundamentals of coaching can be transformed between sports. You know, you look at Sean McVay, who's the coach of the LA Rams, and him talking to Mikel Arteta. You know, they don't have the same tactics, but the man management, the squad management, some of those principles can be taken. When you go into the bookstore, you don't always see, you know, coaching soccer for dummies or coaching football for dummies. Like, you see coaching. You see just random coaching books from different kind of coaches. And I think some of the fundamentals of coaching are the same. So that's how I kind of look at Arteta. Am I right sometimes? Yes. Am I wrong sometimes? Yes. But I can hold my hands up and say that I'm wrong. And I think that that's what I wanted to bring to this space. You know, my thumbnails are not, oh my God, or I don't have like the alert symbols every time I drop something. I just want to talk about my club. I want to talk about the club that I love. You know, I fell in love with this club. I went to the Emirates for the first time, and I saw the capsule in the floor, and I saw Arsene Wenger with the puffer jacket. You know, I saw Alexis Sanchez on the wall, and I said, yeah, I like this. I saw the Thierry Henry. I walked around to the facade of Highbury, and I said, this is the club I want to be at. It just felt right. You know, and I every time I tell someone that, like, I chose Arsenal. I chose it because it felt right. It's like a marriage, you know, and I am married, so I can say, like, that's what it feels like to me. It felt like falling in love with somebody and then knowing that you're never getting away from this. You're not going anywhere. You know, for me, Arsenal will always be there. And I want to bring that to the channel. I think that, you know, some of the feedback I've gotten has been so constructive and great, you know, based on my content, what I can talk about. And what I like to do in the future as well, I want to make it more general football. I do watch football. Like, I watch Sevilla, you know, I watch Spain, I watch England. I want this to be a football channel, but for now, it's Arsenal because I'm passionate about Arsenal. And I also think we're in a pivotal time in our, you know, pivotal time of our timeline, if you say, you know, we should be winning. We should be competing or winning the league. So I think, like, for me, my blinders are on Arsenal. I can't think about the World Cup. I can't think about anything else. I just want to see Arsenal win. So that's where I'm kind of focused now. But I do want to expand. And I do want to kind of get on panels and channels and give my kind of thoughts, because I think that I can. I think I can hold my own. I don't claim to know anything that I don't. I'm not, you know, I won't know as much as the guys who've been watching since 1980. I won't know as much as the guys who go week in and week out. But I know what I know, and I know how I feel. And that's why I made the channel. I want to share what I know and share how I feel. And I'm just so grateful that nearly 250 people have said, I want to watch this too. I want to hear this. So it's been amazing. One thing I will say, and two things. I've had two bits of criticism, and I like to kind of mention it because I think it's important to know. I have less than 250 subscribers. I am not making money off of YouTube. You know, I've gone onto forums like Reddit, you know, sometimes X, Instagram, and you got people, oh, you're profiting off the club. I'm not. I use my money to record these things. Like, the club ain't giving me money. You know, I use my money to watch the club. I use my money to go to the stadium. Like, YouTube doesn't give me, you don't start making money for YouTube to at least, what, like 3 million shorts or, you know, 5,000 watch hours. Like, I'm a small channel. Like, I'm not making money off of YouTube. I'm not profiting off of anything. And I'm not sensationalist. I don't want to, you know, just keep banging the Arteta out drum. I'm neither Arteta out nor Arteta in. I'm Arsenal win. So that doesn't really, it's not my thing. But I don't want to be one of these guys who, I super love the manager, I super love the club, or I super hate the manager and super love the club. Like, I don't want to be that. I just want to be, this is what I'm saying. I love that we're winning. I feel bad when we don't win. I love that the manager's doing great. I feel bad when he's not doing great. Like, I'm a person. I'm not, I'm not yin yang. Like, I am just a fan. That's the life of a fan. And I think a lot of people forget, especially when they watch these YouTubers, these content creators, that these people are fans. You will cheer when you do well, and you'll be sad when you don't do well. The thing is, YouTube just gives you a platform to talk about it. And that's what I do. I talk about it. And people like it and people don't. The second thing that annoys me, that people criticize, is you're contributing to the toxicity of the club. Toxicity of the club. Like, you're making the club toxic. You're the reason we don't win. What? I'm the reason why we squander leads. I'm the reason why we don't put goals in the back of the net. I'm the reason why we concede set pieces. Me, a YouTuber with less than 250 subscribers. I'm the reason Arsenal are not doing well. Come on. I think it's lazy. I think it's super lazy. And a lot of these people that criticize are the same one in their group chats who are talking trash and saying, "You love my manager. My manager does great." And you're like, I'm not an Arteta fan. As much as I like Saka, as much as I like Saliba, when they leave, guess what? I'm still going to be Arsenal. I'm going to be sad they left. I was sad when I loved Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez was the primary reason that I became an Arsenal fan. And when he left to Manchester United, I was like, how? How could you do that to me? But guess what? I didn't cry and say, I'm going to Manchester United now because Alexis left. No. I'm an Arsenal fan. When Ozil left, love that guy. I'm an Arsenal fan. When Aubameyang left, got it. I'm an Arsenal fan. Right? So when Mikel Arteta leaves, got it. But I'm going to still be an Arsenal fan. I don't know what you want from me. So yeah, when it comes to this YouTube thing, I'm just a fan. I'm a fan like everybody else. I don't claim to be a guru. I don't claim to know anything more than anyone else. I'm only saying how I see things. And I think that a lot of times on social media, people forget that some people won't see the things that you see. Every fan won't agree with me. Every fan won't think that, maybe Mikel's time is coming to an end if he doesn't win. Some fans will say he can stay here another 5 years and we'll be fine. Some fans, and you've seen them, and I don't agree with them either, will say even if Arteta wins, he still has to go. I don't feel that way. I just want to be shown that he can do something. I want to be shown that these players are the players that can get over the line. I'm married to the club. That's what I am. So I've made this YouTube thing to just give my opinion. I've made it to give an alternate view. And I want to do more. I want to expand. And then I said, I want to expand into more football things. I want to talk about the South Coast Derby because I live on the South Coast. I want to talk about, Spain, having lived in Spain and going to Sevilla matches. I want to talk about football. But all in all, I want to talk about Arsenal because I love Arsenal. I love the club. I'm wearing, I love the shirt. I want to talk about the shirts that I have. I want to talk about my experiences as an Arsenal fan, going to my first game. I want to talk about, becoming an Arsenal fan. Because as I said, I chose this. I chose to be an Arsenal fan. I could have chosen Liverpool. I could have chosen Man City. I could have chosen Man United. I could have chosen Chelsea. But I chose Arsenal. I chose a team that, besides those teams that I named, haven't really won anything in comparison. We haven't won in Europe. Yes, we're the third biggest team, but, we haven't won in 20 years. And I could have chosen another team. I could have jumped on a bandwagon and said, I want to do this. But Arsenal spoke to me. The way that Arsenal, the way that Arsenal made me feel is how the Miami Dolphins made me feel, how the Hurricanes made me feel. And it's something that I can't explain, but if you've been in love with a club, whether it's Arsenal or a different club, you know what I mean. So that's why I started this YouTube thing. So I want to give my thoughts and my opinions on the whole Arsenal thing. And hopefully some people will hopefully some people will share, hopefully some people will subscribe. And if you don't, I'm still going to do it because I do it for fun. I do it because I love the club. I do it because I like waffling about the teams that I love. And I do it for the community. So if you haven't already and you made it to 15 minutes, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Whether good or bad, leave me a comment. And yeah, let's keep growing. Let's keep growing. I'm so grateful to the Artilleros. And before I leave, I want to talk about Artilleros because I have been asked about this. So Artilleros in Spanish is gunners. I want it to be different. You know, I wanted to give nod to my Puerto Rican heritage. I was I was gonna call my community Armada because I still might do that, but I like Artilleros because we're all gunners. Whether you live in Australia, you know, Brazil, Spain, Portugal, California, Texas, New York, Florida, you know, we all love the club. We all have a different voice. We all have a different thing we bring to not only the fan base, but this YouTube space as well. There's so many different creators. I've seen so many American creators. I've seen so many British creators. I've seen creators from Africa. Like, it's so many different views and ideas and things that you can bring to this channel. And I just want to add to that. I don't want to, you know, if I never make it to 100,000, if I never make it to 1 million, then I'll be fine with that. If I only ever make it to 1,500, I'll be happy with that because I just want to give my views. I want to share with creators. I want to help our community grow. Not just the YouTube community, but Arsenal. If people watch my thing and I can get 3 to 4 new Arsenal fans, that means the world to me. Because that means that there was somebody like me who didn't know about Arsenal, who didn't know about the history, who didn't know about everything. You know, everything, the beauty of this club. And I want to share that with you. I want to share my experience and hopefully I can get some more people to love it. Thanks for listening to me waffle, and hopefully we'll get to the next milestone. I'll see you guys later.